Good morning, everyone. Today is the 20th of February. Welcome to another weekly market analysis. My name is Pedro. I'm the senior market analyst at Alphachain. And usually what we're doing here is to pay attention to what happened last week, how did the market react, and the key catalysts for the week ahead, and maybe what we can expect from the market, which direction should we be looking for and anticipating the market to go through. Last week, the main focus was on CPI that came out on the 13th of February, CPI in the US. The number came out as expected. The problem is that the previous month, it was the previous CPI data from December, it was revised to the upside from initially it came out at minus 0.1, but this was actually at 0.1. And that's why we end up at this point at 6.4% year to year CPI. And the core CPI, if not mistaken, at 5.6% when it was expected to be at 5.5. The reason for this higher number in the CPI is basically due to energy and shelter, with the gas prices again increasing comparing with December, which is a problem, and it's something that is a concern for the Fed and for everyone, right? So based on their predictions and the monetary policies that they are creating, there you go. Inflation is getting sticky, and most likely everything that the Fed has been saying in terms of for how long and where is going to be the peak of the hikes for the interest rate. To remember that a few weeks ago, there was a divergence between the market and what the Fed was saying, between going above 5% or just staying below 5%, and when it would be the beginning of the rate cuts. The market anticipating that would be maybe for the end of this year already some rate cuts, and the Fed mentioning that no, most likely we are going to continue like this until the end of the year, and if there's any rate cuts, it's going to be just in 2024. And the market, looking at these inflation numbers, looking at the other data coming out in the US, if you take a look at the NFP beginning of the month, if you take a look at another big important data that we had, it was the retail sales. Was it retail sales, right? The core retail sales as well this week. It was again stronger. It was a good number in there. PPI as well. It was a high number. So basically, all the data that is coming out, it shows a little bit of a strength in the economy, healthy economy in the US, and most likely this just leads the path for the Fed and to continue to do what it's doing, continue all this direction of keep increasing rates at 0.25 most likely, and then the peak is going to be when it's going to be most likely some projecting at 5.25. Let's see if it even goes to 5.5 or not, but there's almost guarantee that's going to be above 5%. At this point, it's at 4.75. In the US, it's at 4.5 in Canada. New Zealand, 4.25. New Zealand, which is going to be, there's going to be a meeting this week, Tuesday or Wednesday, and is expected to be another 0.5% hike, so close to 4.75, matching the US in here. And yeah, UK at 4%, Australia at 3.35, and the Eurozone at 3%. That's where we are at this point with the rates. Aside from that, there was quite a few Fed members from the FOMC mentioning or commenting about the situation, and most of those commentaries actually come out after the CPI number came out, so they already had that data to change it to to make a comment on the data that came out, and it was more in alignment with what the Fed has been saying. Keep increasing, no rate cuts. Let's keep it like it is. We have the inflation is still not is still here. We haven't won this battle yet, so let's carry on like we are doing. So basically, that's what has been going on in the US. Looking at the data, looking at the UK, for example, in the UK we had quite a few data coming out as well. Better than expected unemployment numbers, which is good and positive in the UK. We had also the CPI that came out a little bit lower than expected. At this point, at 10.1%. It was expected to be at 10.3. So it's still a 2 digits number, but hopefully it's something that's going to continue to decrease. Right, the CPI number, it peaked in the UK back in November, and it's already the fourth month in a row, or the third month in a row, creating a new low. So hopefully next month you're going to continue to see and finally going below the 2 digits. And we also had that's basically the big news in the UK. The market overall has been a little bit indecisive, no proper direction, as you're going to see in a bit. What else did we had last week? That was basically it. There are some commentaries as well in the ECB with some members mentioning that most likely are going to continue to have more hikes in the ECB, maybe close to 4%. Some others are a little bit more cautious and to look at the data to make decisions. This week, it's going to be a calm week. So today is bank holiday in the US and in Canada. So expecting maybe a little bit of a low volatility in the afternoon. Maybe trade as normal during the London session, but in the afternoon in the UK, expect some low volatility in the markets. Then we're going to have tomorrow a lot of PMI data coming out. So expect some volatility in there. We had CPI in Canada, so let's see what the number is going to be. As I mentioned, it's going to be another interest rate decision in New Zealand, expecting to another 50 basis points hike to 4.75. And what else do we have? We're going to have PCE on Friday. So by the end of the week, we're going to have the core PCE. This is an important data, or the important inflation data that the Fed looks at, maybe even more than CPI. The Fed likes to look at this core PCE in order to make decision and to look at the CPI data. Aside from this, there's been this week a lot of tension, geopolitical tension between US, China, and Russia, right? So Russia, it's going to mark on the 24th of February, is going to mark 1 year since the invasion into Ukraine. And yeah, basically the US Secretary of State Blinken has warned China, the supposition that China will be providing military support to Russia, right? So there's a lot of tension going on. Everything that the market doesn't need, it's more uncertainty in that regard. It was just confirmed this morning that Biden just landed in the Ukraine. It was expected to be in Poland, to visit Poland this week, but apparently it's actually in Ukraine at this point that we are doing this live session. So yes, let's see what's going to happen in that regard, how the market's going to react to it, how the decision that's going to come out of there. Hopefully, of course, the idea it will be to have some kind of resolution of all this situation, which doesn't look like it's in the near term. So expecting more issues or in Ukraine throughout the next few months. until we may find some resolution from all the situation in here. Another situation, Meta, which has launched monthly subscriptions similar to what Elon Musk has done now with Twitter, with the bull mark. Meta just kind of copy the idea, and there you go. Now there's going to be a new subscription in for Facebook, and it's going to be kind of secured, more privacy, or yeah, basically they're looking for a new revenue stream in Facebook, which let's see how the consumer are going to react to it, right? Something that used to be free, now they are trying to charge, to find ways to charge for it. We'll see how that's going to play out in there. That's basically it in terms of what you can look for next week. Earnings, they're still they are even finished. So, for example, tomorrow we're going to be Walmart is going to announce their earnings. It's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, that's basically it. So if you pay attention to the markets, something that we predicted last week is something that we have been looking at after the turn on the this move. In theory, we are looking at the dollar index. Dollar index is something that we pay attention to. It gives a great correlation overview of what we can expect from the major FX pairs, which is something that we look at. So yes, we had indeed the turn in the beginning of February. We had the turn on the dollar, and we are looking for price to fill somewhere this range in here, right? At least to get closer to this level. Nevertheless, last week we were indeed expecting a little bit of volatility and indecision, not just a straight move to the upside, but a little bit of indecision between the price navigating between these highs and these lows, until eventually it would kind of make that move to the upside, right? Between all this indecision, eventually we're looking for price to go higher, which it ended up happening last Friday, with price going upwards. But then just before the US Open, we actually had a move to the downside in here, which again, it shows a little bit of indecision. You can also see the yields, the 10-year yield getting closer to 4%. So it's something that we are going to be paying attention to. Now, is the market and the dollar ready to continue to go higher? Are you going to have a little bit more of a retracement? Are you going to go back close to the lows from the beginning of the month? Where are you going to, right? So that's kind of the question mark. I will still looking for price to go slightly higher in here, for the dollar to go a little bit to the upside. It hasn't really reached the final destination, kind of at least to go here. And to be honest, overall, I'm still even expecting for price to go even higher than this high. But there's no need to guess that. We can actually just wait to see what price is going to do, maybe once it gets to these levels in here. So this is something that I'll be definitely paying attention to. Yes, price can maybe still go and retest maybe something in here before then continuing. We mentioned last week that there were maybe 2-3 levels where price could react from. One of them to be somewhere in here. We're testing this previous level of the resistance, becoming support. Another one to be here, which has already been taken by this level. So looking at the base of this demand, it will be maybe something in there. And then of course, the last one it will be in between this low and this level to fill that gap. So price had already taken this one. I would actually, my favorite scenario, now we are retesting this previous level of resistance. Price is reacting from there. That's where it's reacted this morning. My favorite scenario to be to see price going somehow like this, and to actually take these highs, showing indication to go that it wants to go a little bit higher. But before that, now we could have a deep retracement in here, go below these lows and turn, and then maybe continue to the upside, and maybe feel all these in here. This is a little bit of what I would like to see on the dollar. There's still a lot of things that need to happen before that, but it's something that I'll be paying attention to And yes, if you do break above this highs, I think we may have more room to go higher. On the dollar, maybe even next destination, maybe before, maybe somewhere in here, and then eventually we could go all the way to test these highs. So yes, that is something that we are looking for and paying attention to on the dollar index. Now taking a look at the indices and what the S&P is doing. So again, another one that has been in this range in here. Basically, spent all week within this level. In here, this is where basically price spent the week without managing to break the highs, and slightly broke one of the lows in here, but we are still within this level of structure somewhere in here. So this level, it would be nice to see being broken, maybe to open space for price now to navigate to the downside. Yes, we did had this this trend line in here, which has been broken a little bit, so there may be more room to the downside. Where the highs are reacting, they are reacting from a good level. They are reacting from this supply, which is actually in alignment as well with that one. We did took already this out these two lows, which may be enough liquidity in there. I mentioned already my favorite level. It will be still for price to go closer to this level in here, to the highs created in August, before any major turn. Let's see if that's going to happen or not, or if price will just maybe start going to the downside from where they are without the need of breaking these levels. However, yes, when I do see way too many highs in alignment like this, it starts to build a high probability chance that we may have some kind of fake out or spike above this size before the turn. Again, we don't need to guess that. If price just does this and reacts from this level and continues to go higher, maybe price actually wants to go a little bit higher, which we also have a nice on this 4,360 mark. Yeah, but if you do go above this level, there's going to be some kind of structure being created in here. If you do break below that structure again, maybe this could be a good level to look for that short and maybe a big opportunity to look for price eventually to catch all this move all the way until here, or even further down. So yeah, this is something that we are looking for on the S&P. Let's see how price is going to behave in here. Nasdaq doing something similar. Again, within this range for the last during the last week. Nasdaq, it's maybe the one that I'm still a little bit bullish. S&P, okay, where it is. If it doesn't create any new highs before it goes down, I'm kind of okay with that. But Nasdaq, to be honest, we did took this high in here. So I actually would like to see a little bit more room to the upside, getting at least closer to this level, or again, close to those highs from August. Let's see if that's going to happen. Nasdaq, we still have this demand in here, which price hasn't really reached, right? So this will left that space in there. It's a good level. Previous level support resistance as well in alignment, so it looks like can be a good level maybe to potentially look for longs in here. Let's see how price is going to react from here. This for me is the first one of the most important levels of support in here at this point on Nasdaq. If you do break below that level, maybe you can continue to go lower in there. So yep, pay attention to how price is going to react. Starting to create a little bit of liquidity in here. I would prefer to actually see a little bit price showing another bullish sentiment before maybe coming out just one last time and take these lows and then going to the upside. So that's something that I would prefer to see in here. Again, another level where it's creating a good level of resistance around these levels, 12,700. Yep, let's see if we do continue to have a little bit more room to the upside, retesting this level, or if we do manage to break below. If we break below, maybe something like this could happen in here. So yes, something to pay attention on Nasdaq and Dow Jones, right? So Dow Jones already did a little bit what we were looking for. Again, Dow is the one that have been bearish for the longest time. It is showing a little bit more of a weak price action in here. Yes, I'm still looking for price eventually to go there. We were aware of this level that is respected. We have these walls have been broken, and now maybe price now is opening, or as definitely maybe open space to go a little bit farther down. So we broke it in here. This kind of opens a little bit space, and what we did have before is exactly this, right? So we had this level of supply, really strong level of resistance. So many highs being created in here, and then all of a sudden we had this spike just above those levels into that supply level, and we went, right. So this move occurred during the CPI last Tuesday, but something similar that can occur, that we've just talked about, can occur on the S&P, for example. Like when you do have way too many highs in alignment, it looks like it's a strong level of resistance, which become a really good level for price to just spike it and then maybe move to the downside. So let's see if that if the Dow is ready. So again, I've been a little bit more bearish on the Dow even since beginning of the year, while on the other hand I was a little bit still bullish on the Nasdaq and S&P. Dow has been literally in this kind of range without really moving too much, while the others have been in a rally, moving upwards, and eventually maybe they'll be in alignment and maybe dropping altogether. Maybe that's what the Dow is waiting, maybe just for the other two to kind of align, and maybe we can have a sell-off in there. Some other that we are looking for, or that we are looking at, is the DAX. The DAX may offer a good opportunity in here. My favorite level, I would like to see price going above this high and kind of reacting somewhere in there. I think maybe we have a good opportunity to look for sales in a good way, to look for a long opportunity, for a long higher time frame sell. Swing trade position maybe. Let's see how price is behaving. At this point, we are kind of took these lows in here. Price respected the demand, so that has been taken. We may eventually open more room to the downside. We are creating this range, which is a great sign also to see price slowing down, creating a little bit of a range just underneath maybe a key level to look for a potential reversal. So let's see how price is going to behave from here. And eventually, I would like to see something like this happening. Actually, price then could still go here before the drop. Again, it's just something that may be in the cards in here. Price may start to create all that scenario. There are a few things that still need to happen. Something that you can do is exactly that. So like start making these predictions, like creating these potential scenarios, and as price is moving, you can be adjusting, and based on the clues that price is giving along the way, you can keep adjusting your own predictions until you fine tune exactly the right moment for things to happen, or the clues that tells you, no, the scenario that I had predicted initially, price is not showing any signs of that. I was actually kind of wrong in maybe my initial prediction. So time to adjust and maybe continue to look for price to go a little bit higher, or eventually to just to change your own bias. Something to be aware of is exactly this double top in here. Anytime we do have a double top like this, these all-time highs in there, there's a high chance that price can be attached or attract to that level, almost as magnetic in here. So yes, you do have that double top in there, but lower time frame, even though this is higher time frame either way, but I would like to see price going first, have some kind of reaction above this high into that level, and maybe a good turn in there before even going all the way through the double tops. So yeah, that's for the DAX. We take a look also at the Euro Index. Euro Index is another one that it shows guys a little bit what to expect from the Euro pairs, and you can use it as well a little bit in correlation with the dollar index, and you can start making predictions. like that. As you mentioned several times, price reacted precisely from a level that you're looking for the last few months, that could use the work as resistance for this euro rally since the end of September. And yes, are we ready to start navigating and moving down to the downside? I'm still looking for price to maybe go and target this low from this highs. Price did respect this demand, so let's see what's going to happen. I could see price going a little bit higher and then continue eventually to move here. Of course, I would have preferred actually to see this low taking slightly this lows on the left. It didn't, it respected quite nicely. So just a question mark in there, something to be aware of. But yes, overall, I would still like to see this euro index to navigate a little bit lower in here, which could lead euro dollar to continue to move lower in the short medium term. Yes, now there's still a chance that maybe price could go slightly higher. Maybe I would prefer to see actually price just respecting that high and continue to move to the downside, maybe all the way until this level. Just something here. Yeah, nothing much. So that's a little bit for the euro index. And the yen, right? The yen has been finally moving. Right, there was a lot of indecision for the last few weeks, and now we finally move, right? So basically, the news of the new governor of the Bank of Japan has made finally the yen to move. I think there's going to be CPI data coming out as well in Japan during this week. So yes, expect maybe continuation of a volatility. Price is moving slowly to the downside. I think there's room to go a little bit closer to this level in here after we finally broke out these lows. So that's kind of where we are on the end. Can even maybe go a little bit higher before going lower. Right? And whatever you see on this yen index is kind of the opposite. The movement is the opposite on the dollar yen. Right? If price is going down now, you're going to see the dollar yen going to the upside. So yes, a little bit maybe more room to the downside on the end before maybe resuming a little bit more the move upwards. Now, if you take a look at the individual currency pairs, so this is what we have. The euro dollar, we're with similar to the dollar index. So as I mentioned, I was still targeting these lows in here from the beginning of January, created during the last NFP. Price paused a little bit in the middle. It was actually a good level, one of those last supply levels that was still fresh. Price should have worked to the downside. It didn't. It worked to the long side. So this was the low or a reaction created last Friday before the US Open. Good move to the upside. Again, we are creating or going down in this kind of move, not exactly just a straight line, but in this volatility, taking highs, taking lows, something that we mentioned last week, that most likely price would behave like this, not just in a free fall like it happened the previous during these 2 days, more a little bit of a range, price going up and down, creating some confusion in the market. So we had this big spike in here during CPI. Price reacted from this previous level of support, and after that we had the euro going and moving to the downside. Now, final destination for me is still a little bit lower, so eventually I would like to see the euro to continue to move down. Now, it doesn't need to be from here, maybe actually going to go a little bit higher, maybe for continuing, or you can even go all the way back to here before even resuming that move down. However, bigger picture, I'm still looking for the euro to go down. Actually, based on the major currency pairs, we see that the pound dollar is the only one that has already reached this level. So pound dollar has already reached this level. Dollar index hasn't, euro dollar hasn't, Aussie dollar hasn't done it neither. So yeah, keeping an eye on that one. Let's see if we're going to resume a little bit more to the upside, which we might. We just took this high, reacted this morning from this good supply level. We're not managing to break this low, so maybe just continue to go higher, retesting maybe something in here from the CPI on the euro. And if you do go a little bit below here, there's maybe some other things that we can use to push price up. So expect maybe another week of volatility. There's not exactly any big news events. Maybe just next Friday with the PC. Aside from that, there's not exactly anything. There's not going to be any Fed meeting, any ECB, any unemployment coming out. So tomorrow we're going to have some PMI. So usually there's maybe a little bit of volatility, maybe some direction that price can pick and go, some trend. But aside from that, maybe some volatility in here, with price going up, maybe the day after going down, and so on. Pound, as I mentioned, is the only major FX pair in here that has actually reacted close to these lows from the beginning of April, from that NFP data. It was actually one that had been really close to that level before in the beginning of January. It retraced all the way, retested this previous level of support resistance, and now finally it reached its destination. So, okay, for the pound, I would be okay where price is already reacting from, reaching this level, right? This fresh demand that was in there. These lows never reach it, so that space kind of has been filled. Yes, we do have this previous level of structure in here, this double low. Price broke that level, enter into this compression. Personally, I even see these lows in here as an engulf down, so expecting even eventually price to continue and break these lows after taking slightly these highs in here on the left side. Now this level was definitely still fresh, so good reaction from here. Eventually I wouldn't be surprised if we do break below these lows, but let's see what's going to happen on the pound. There's a chance also for price to maybe continue to go higher. This is still a good level in here where price is reacting this morning, so price could even actually start to go down from where it is now. On the 4-hour time frame, I think you can literally see it was a zone that was still fresh. This high has never reacted from there, so nice reaction from here. Yeah, let's see, and this level was still fresh. So for the pound, the prediction that we had made, right, since price broke these highs, that we were looking for price to fill this range, that has been filled. Initially it was even here, but after price broke below this level, we were looking for price to get there. There you go, that has been accomplished. For the month of February, the prediction and the target has been completed. So now it's time to wait and see, to pay attention to which levels are going to be broken next, in order for us to make new predictions of maybe what we can expect. Is the pound going to resume to move upwards or not? Being aware that actually this level on the left side is still actually fresh, because this high is in here. Even when it took this high, or price took that high, it never really reached that level. So yes, there is even the chance that price could go all the way there before maybe moving down, and that may not need to happen. So yes, keeping an eye, maybe some levels in here that price could go. This level for now, it's a good one. Maybe can even break this level first, retrace, and then continue to go higher. So let's see what's going to happen on the pound. But there you go. But this is the first one that has filled this range that we have been looking for the last month or so on the pound. Aussie, a little bit similar to the euro as well. Another one that we predicted last couple of weeks. So we had this low. This was definitely an engulf to the downside, showing indication or intentions to eventually continue to move down. Maybe this level in here is still kind of this destination, which price hasn't really reached that. That's the same level back from the NFP in January. Now price indeed broke these highs in here, reacted from there. It hasn't really reached this next destination or next level of structure, so there's a little bit more room to go higher. Let's see how price is going to behave around this level. I would like to see, or maybe there's a chance for price even to go closer in here before maybe resuming the move to the downside, right? Because this high kind of stopped a little bit in the middle during the CPI data, didn't really reach the next level of structure. So something to be aware of. There's maybe some other levels in here that price could use as a reaction to the downside. Nevertheless, if price does indeed maybe takes this high first, if it takes this high in here, maybe then can resume a little bit down, maybe react from something in here before making all this move up. again, something to keep an eye on. Something, again, another one that is moving in with a lot of volatility in here, spikes up and down, moving along the way. Yeah, so the yen pairs, similar to the yen index, as we saw, yen index has been going down, so the dollar yen has been going up. We managed to break these highs in here back from January, so we created new highs for the year on the dollar yen. Price indeed managed to respect those lows in here on the left side. It took a little bit it took some time for price to finally move away from this level, but it finally gained some momentum. It's reacting from maybe something here. I would like to see eventually the yen to go a little bit higher. So let's see from where that's going to happen. Yeah, reacting maybe a little bit from here. Let's see if it managed to hold these lows and then continue, or it's going to do a little bit below and then maybe continue to move higher, right? So we just took this size, the yen. Another one to maybe when the dollar finally resumes the move to the upside, maybe the dollar yen is going to follow and continue to move higher in there. I would definitely like to see the yen going a little bit more to the upside. The other yen pairs moving a little bit quite similar. Euro yen, I would like to see going a little bit higher as well. We finally broke this level of structure. A lot of compression, maybe somewhere in there, maybe a little bit more to the downside. Eventually could even go much higher than that. Yeah, the dollar CAD, which is going to have CPI data in the middle of the week, he managed to respect the low one more time, right? During the CPI, it had out this level of structure. We didn't had broken this highs had broken the previous high, so there was maybe a little bit of that indication the price could go higher, but it was a really strong level of resistance in there. But there you go, price still managing to respect this level, which now is becoming a really strong level of support as well, around 1.327. Somewhere in here it spiked there, and now it broke out these highs. So let's see if now the room is open for price to go a little bit higher. It's respecting this previous level of support resistance. So CAD has been moving a lot like that, a lot of spikes here and there, quick and fast moves, then kind of respects again the structure. Yeah, it hasn't been one that I've been spending too much time on a daily basis looking for opportunities, but maybe you can find those opportunities and they kind of work quite fast. Or price has been moving quite fast in here, but still kind of within a little bit of this range. Let's see which direction CAD eventually is going to. Dollar franc Swiss was another one that you saw price moving or breaking this highs, indicating that want to go higher. Nice reaction from the demand zone, went all the way through now towards the next supply, and that's basically what we have seen price doing. Strong compression on the way down. Maybe you can even draw this trend line, which maybe now is seen as broken, which could lead price to move higher. So basically you may have broken this trend line, indicating that, yep, we may want to go a little bit higher, maybe to test that level. Nevertheless, there's maybe some supplies along the way that price can still react from. The same way that we now with some demands along the way as well, right? So price now is reacted quite nicely from this level. This in here could be a good zone to maybe look for the continuation to the upside, or even retesting a little bit more the lows before going higher. So again, maybe when the dollar resumes to move to the upside, maybe the dollar franc Swiss is going to do the same. Yep, another one, strong moves ups and down. There you go. It's not a trending market at this point, right? Because you can see prices just literally going up and down, breaking highs and breaking lows and breaking highs again. There's maybe a little bit of indecision in the market at this point. And then gold, it's another one. It's reacting from a good level. So gold reacted and turned as well as we were expecting in alignment with the dollar. Yep, the strong inverted correlation that we have seen with the dollar is in there. Nice reaction now. We just took this daily low into this strong level in here that was still fresh, and price is reacting. So let's see how gold is going to react at around this 1,850, and maybe can see some level of support in there and some resistance in there, and will continue to move down, or we may feel all this range in here. Because this was a good level. Again, another one is literally the test of this level in here, because otherwise, if you do break below that level or below these lows, there's maybe more room. Maybe this level okay, this level is okay, but below that, it's almost everything compressed, and maybe I could see price going all the way back to 1,770s or something like that, or 50s, maybe somewhere in here. If price does break below this level, and maybe somewhere below that level. But for now, this demand zone, nice reaction. We had these lows in here to collect liquidity. This wide already actually broken these lows in here, so that's something that I mentioned many times. Yep, this kind of work as a target for the future, and if this works as a target for a sell, maybe can work as a good zone to look for longs. Now let's see how price is going to react from here, which is still a fresh level. None of these highs reacted from there, and above that, almost everything is compressed, and price could go and retest these highs, and then maybe those highs, and then maybe somewhere in there along the way. So yeah, again, another one. Gold has been moving a little bit more to the kind of is in a bearish trend than the others, but even in this case, you can still see quite a lot of volatility being created in here, with price breaking highs, lows, and continuing in this weird way of a move. WTI, it's another one. Has been ranging for the last basically 3 months or so, or even more, in between this level of $71 or $70 and this $82 mark. So that's where oil has been navigating or moving. We had China reopening. We had the sanctions from the Eurozone to Russia. We have Russia cutting their production. We have all these geopolitical tensions going on. So we have maybe fear of recession. We have maybe for a moment the enthusiasm in the markets with the bullish rally in January. So if all these situations playing a role in what the market is looking in the oil. And yes, there's not exactly a proper decision in order to eventually finally break above this level of resistance or to break below this level of support. So this is what we have. There's maybe continuation to be in between these levels for the next couple of weeks or so. I mentioned I wouldn't be surprised if you do continue to maybe be trading in between this level, can even go a little bit higher and then go back down. Actually, I still like that level, and we are reacting from this daily demand zone as well. So let's see to which direction we are going to move away from, and which direction we're going to go eventually when we break away from this range. So let's see also what's going to be the catalyst that's going to make the market move away from this level. And now crypto, right? So crypto, big mark last week. Finally, BTC managed to break the high from August, right? That's a big mark in here. So we managed to break above this 25. What was exactly the high there? There you go, 25,200, something like that. That was created back in the 15th of August. It was kind of that the high created during this bullish retracement in the summer, and now finally last Friday, if not mistaken, we managed to break above that level. We have the really strong bullish run, momentum created last Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday. Yeah, it was Thursday, not Friday. And now we are retesting it again, right? So where is price also reacting? We mentioned this important level could be a great zone for price to move to the upside. So by breaking this level, I think now we open space for price to navigate towards maybe this 27, 28K, if not the 30K mark. Now, it doesn't mean that price will just move in a straight line into that level. Price may actually maybe retrace a little bit, maybe even retest back towards this 22K zone, this low created in here last week, and then maybe resume the move to the upside, right? So, or expect some kind of manipulation here before maybe going into that, right? But by looking at this, I think many people become even more bullish in here, with the potential to eventually to get closer to those and to close the gap now towards the 28K or 30K mark, which was an important level of resistance, of support back in the summer of 2021. So that's for BTC. Continuation to the upside eventually. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And Ethereum, right? So Ethereum, slightly different, a bit different. So it's still a little bit far away from the highs from August, but Ethereum had retested already these levels in here. So it's a little bit different in there. Personally, as I mentioned, I'm still looking for Ethereum to get closer to this level. So to fake out these highs in here from September and to get closer to this level. And after that, maybe we can have some kind of move to the downside. Yes, price is reacting from this level. It's a good level where price has been reacting from. We did manage to break these walls all the way reacting straight away from here, but this breaking these walls can be actually something interesting. Price can even retest again, taking these orders and going higher eventually to get there. That's something to keep an eye on Ethereum. Yes, I'm still looking for price eventually to get closer to this level in here, to go above this size from September. Something else to look at, just cool in here on the crypto. If you pay attention to the crypto total market, which is kind of a dollar index for the crypto, and how correlated it is with the dollar, with Bitcoin. Yeah, so if you compare it, for example, if you pay attention to the key levels in here, so BTC basically paused in here, right? So this is where BTC kind of paused in August. This is the highs that basically you took, but you can see that crypto total market, it actually went a little bit higher, closer to this level, right? So if you pay attention just to the structure of price, it looks quite similar. However, this one went much higher last summer than comparing with BTC, right? BTC stopped in here and these guys went all the way, basically retesting what would look like the 28K mark on BTC or 30K mark, right? This is maybe now the space that BTC can fill, while these guys already did that back in August. So maybe you can see a little bit price continue to react somewhere in here, in this around this level, without the need to break new highs, while BTC may just fill the same space and react from this level in here. That is still fresh on BTC. So basically what I'm saying is this one, right? As you can see, BTC just reacted from this level, and the other one already reacted from here. So eventually, maybe that's the space that the BTC now is going to fill all the way until here before maybe resuming the move or going a little bit lower after that. But of course, right? Let's see eventually if BTC gets there, how is it going to react? Is there going to be any signs of weakness or not? Or price by any chance is just going to continue to move higher? But yeah, when you're looking at correlation, you can indeed pay attention to this and to these marks in here. And if you see some kind of good level of support somewhere in here that maybe price could go and react from, maybe that can lead also to some reaction to the downside on BTC, right? The same way that basically BTC and the total crypto reacted exactly from the same demand last week to then make this rally. Similar moving here, a little bit of a range, leaving the demand fresh behind, and exactly just like that, right? So you can definitely gather information. For example, if you had paid attention to this one, you could see that this was already an engulf upwards, and most likely price wanted to go higher, at least to get closer to this level in here. So this is something, if you were aware of this, you could definitely pay attention to look for longs on DTC, and as a consequence as well, maybe on Ethereum. So you can indeed take information from the correlated assets to make decisions then of maybe what you could expect and looking for. Yeah, nevertheless, this one kind of reacted from the base. So actually, I would even prefer to see price maybe taking this high into that level, and after that, maybe it could move to the downside. But yeah, this is just a tip on how to pay attention to the correlations and to finding zones and directions, and create your own bias when making decisions to look for opportunities. And that's basically it for this week. So thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching another weekly market analysis. I will see you next week. So enjoy your trading week. Don't forget to follow your plan and to trade your plan. Thank you. I'll see you next week.